Hello everyone, in this video we are going to see about the deadlock. Actually, as the name implies, we all know what is a deadlock. Deadlock is a situation where everyone is not able to proceed in their progress. So that is called as a deadlock. So the best example to explain always this deadlock is a traffic jam situation where the vehicles are on the road where they cannot move, and a traffic controller has to take care of all the situation to just deviate the traffic so that the traffic can be in a regular way. Okay, so likewise here in terms of the systems, actually how this deadlock occurs is here. Generally, we all know that a process, when it is processing or when it is going to execute, it needs many resources. The resources may be a memory resource or an I/O device, or maybe a CPU cycles. What is the CPU cycles is the some time that is the memory cycle time, or any the execution time that CPU has to spend on the process is called as an CPU cycle, and the CPU has to spend few cycles on the process in order to the process can complete. Okay, so here, so the resources may be of any type and they are named as R1, R2, etc. up to REM, and each resource type maybe have some W instances, in the sense one resource, for example, memory card, so many memory cards available, memory slots available, memory space available, otherwise device drivers, many device drivers available, magnetic tape, magnetic disk, whatever. So any resources having multiple devices available is called as an multiple instances. And then each process utilizes a resource as follows. How they will use? They request a resource and they will use it for some time and release the resource. This is the cycle every process use. If every process use this cycle regularly, naturally the system can be moved in a smoother fashion. If anything problem comes in the communication between the processes where they cannot request the resource for some time, they can release the resource from their resources, in that time only the deadlock situation naturally happens. Let us generally this is denoted by a resource graph. Okay, so now here just let us see first this resource graph. This is the P1, P2, P3, P4 are the processes, and R1, R2 are the resources, and these dots mention the instances. For example, resource R1 may be a magnetic tape 1, tape 2 available, and this R2 may be a tape drive or any magnetic disk. So disk 1, disk 2 available. Likewise, instances are given by the dots. Okay, so now let us go back to this. Okay, so how the deadlock is characterized? We have seen in the previous video what is mutual exclusion and what is bounded wait and what is progress. So and also we have seen about the critical situation. So actually what is the purpose of knowing those things is that every process in its critical situation for some time, and they have to request for some resources, use it, and they have to release the resources. That is what is hold and wait. Okay, and then mutual exclusion is one process only in the mutual exclusion state, and the other process cannot be in its mutual exclusion state. That means a few fraction of the nanoseconds of the CPU time, at a time only one process can be in its mutual execution stage. Okay, and then hold and wait. So hold and wait is every process holding something and waiting for something. So this is one situation where the deadlock can arise. And then no preemption. What is no preemption is some process is holding the resources and it is holding for long time, not at all leaving for the other processes. So other process may come into starvation and they may not get the resources and they may be killed for some time. So they cannot be able to proceed. So that is one situation where the deadlock can arise, which is no preemption. And then circular wait. For example, say a process P0 is waiting for some result from P1, and then P1 waiting for P2, P2 to P3, P4, and so on. Finally, Pn-1 is waiting for Pn, and then again it's in a cycle. Pn waits for P0. How this cycle will move? Because everyone is waiting for one another. That is also another situation where the deadlock can occur. So in order to overcome this, so this is all the reasons where the deadlock can arise in an scenario where the processes are in these stages. So there are some possibilities how this system can handle those deadlock situation. So in order to mention the situation, they can use this resource allocation graph. As the name implies, this graph gives the resource allocation, and the graph is a collection of vertex and edges. The vertex are the processes and edges are they are all the request and the assignment edges. Okay, so now the process may request some resources, so that is called P1 is requesting for resource Rj, and this is assignment edge where it is an Rj directed to Pi, means Rj is the resource allocated to Pi. This is called, so request edge and assignment edge. Okay, so they are directed edge, means they are pointed. If it is pointed, means the other way is not actually, the vice versa case is not true. Okay, so now this is the resource graph I just explained you before, and how to analyze or how to know that a deadlock is occurred by knowing the resource graph. So we cannot say that if there is a cycle in the graph there is a deadlock. That we cannot say, because this is the case when suppose there are multiple instances of the same resources. In that case, this cycle will not give a deadlock. But in case there is only one resource, one instance of one resource, all the resources, that means the resources cannot be shared by other processes, then there will be a situation of deadlock. Now this we can see this scenario. P3 and P1 are the processes in this graph cycle, and then R2 is assigned to P1 and R1 is assigned to P3. That means both the process has their own process, they are moving comfortably without any problem. So they are not in the deadlock. Okay. Now in the case if P2 is asking for resource R1 and R1 has only one instance, that is the time the deadlock can happen. Okay. Likewise, here for R2 also, as long as R2 has more resources, this cycle can go as usual. There is no problem. They can keep on using one process, one resource, and leaving the other resources. But when P4 is as a new process coming inside and asking for a resource R2, but if it is only one instance, in that case deadlock may occur. But since there are two instances, P4 coming inside as a new job or a new process can use the resources R2 instance, second instance of the resource. So what is the graph? Ultimately what the graph says is that if there is a single instance of all the resources in the system, then there may be a problem of deadlock when this type of cycle occurs in the graph. Okay. Otherwise the multiple instances may not represent it may not represent a deadlock situation. Okay. Now let us see how these deadlocks can be handled. There are three situations or three methods that deadlocks can be handled. How they can be handled? Always prevention is better than cure. So in that case we can prevent the deadlock can never happen. How to prevent? Ensure every resources is surplusly available and deadlock can never happen. So that is one situation which is called prevention. And what is avoidance is, let the system enter into deadlock and then let us recover the problem. With like when after the traffic jam occurs, how the traffic controller solve the problem, that is called as an deadlock avoidance. And what is deadlock reduction is, let the deadlock happen, because it happens, we cannot always have surplus of resources in a situation, in all the situation. So there are time the deadlocks can happen. Let it happen, but even though the deadlock happens, the system can move as if nothing has happened. That means the system is so efficient that it can manage with some other resources, so that the deadlock, though can be detected, can be ignored and they can be keep moving. So these are all the three situations that deadlock can be handled. In the next classes we will see about the methods of how this deadlock can be handled by either by deduction or by avoidance or by prevention. Hope you understood the basic concept of what is deadlock and how the deadlock is characterized, and thanks for watching.